Hello, all my Merry Makers, and welcome to Merry Making Monday. I am Becca, your host. Here on Merry Making Mondays, I walk you through how to make something, usually knit or crochet, and that is no exception for today. We are going to be learning how to knit roses. If you are like me and both knit and crochet, you've seen those beautiful crochet roses, and it's like, or maybe you knit and you're like, I don't crochet. I would like to still make roses. Um, this is for you. And I apologize. This was supposed to go up last week. One of the delays was I was actually trying to make my own pattern. And let me just say, I have a whole new appreciation for people who make their own patterns now. I thought it was going to be super easy. It was not. I had many failed attempts to the point where I basically gave up, looked for a pattern, and found one on linebrand.com, which is what we're going to be working off of today. Um, so grab your yarn and your size appropriate needle, and let's begin. Alright, so before we begin, you're going to need your yarn, your needle, your knitting needles, your tapestry needle, which for me is stuck underneath my, there it is, your tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. This is the third time I'm attempting to shoot this, so you'll forgive me if I forget something. This pattern is a pattern that you can find on linebrand.com for knitted roses. I am not affiliated nor sponsored by Lion Brand, but I would not say the nay if they asked. So, first thing it says to do is cast on 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3. I don't think I made myself long enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Once you got that cast on, you knit front back on that first stitch. So knit front, and if I can get my yarn to appreciate the work for me, knit back, and then you knit the remaining 4 stitches. Okay, you should now have 6 stitches. And I do believe that I've messed up already because I believe the pattern says to cast on 6 stitches. But we're still going to move on because I'm tired. And like I said, this is the 3rd time I've attempted shooting. And I don't think it's going to make that big of a deal. Alright, then you knit to, or you purl to the last 2 stitches, which means you have 2 stitches remaining on your needle. And then you purl front back, which is a little tricky. I usually end up using both my hands for a purl front back just because it's a little convoluted. And then you purl the last stitch. Alright, I now have 7 stitches. I now knit all my stitches. Alright, turn my work. And now I purl on my stitches. Okay. Now we decrease. Knit the first stitch, and then you knit 2 together, and then you knit the remaining stitches, turn the work, purl to the last 3 stitches. That means you have 3 stitches remaining on your needle. Purl 2 of the stitches together, and then purl the last stitch. Alright, and now we're down to 5 stitches. You've completed the first small petal, and you're going to do that 3 more times. I'll meet you back here in a couple of minutes. There we go. So now that we have done 4 of the small petals and we're back down to 5 stitches, I am going to the next step is to make 3 medium stitches, and it's all the same steps, it's just more of them. So you're going to knit front back on the first stitch, and then knit the remaining stitches, alright, and then on the purl side, you try to purl that stitch, purl to the last 2 stitches, and then you purl front and back, and then you purl the last stitch, and then you do that again. So right now I have 7 stitches, and I'm still increasing. This is what's different from the small petal. So knit front back on that first stitch and knit the remaining stitches, and then I don't know about you, but sometimes I struggle with purling this first stitch. You have 2 solutions to that. One is you slip the first stitch, or you just knit the first stitch, which is what I do. Nobody sees that first stitch anyway, 9% of the time. Alright, so purl to the last 2 stitches, purl front back, and then purl the last stitch. Now I have, or I should have, 11 stitches. 3, 6, 9. No, I'm thinking the large stitches. My bad. 9. So now that I have 9, I'm going to knit all my stitches, and then I'm going to purl all my stitches, and I'm going to do that twice. Okay? No increases for 4 rows. And I'll meet you on the other side. Alright, now that we've done stockinette stitch for 4 rows, we're ready to decrease on... We're ready to decrease. So, knit the first stitch, knit 2 together, knit the remaining stitches, and on the other side, knit that first stitch if you have to, if you're like me and just purling is not an option. Purl to the last 3 stitches, purl 2 together, purl the last stitch. And I have 7 stitches now, so I'm going to do that once more, back down to 5 stitches. Now that you've done that and you're back down to 5 stitches, you've made your first medium-sized petal. You're going to do all those steps again 2 more times for a grand total of 3 medium petals, and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, so we're down up to 3 of the medium-sized petals, if I could talk today, and 5 stitches. So now we're going to do a large petal, it's the same exact steps, just more of them again. So when you're on the knit side, you're going to knit front back that first stitch. When you're on your purl side, you're going to purl front back that second stitch, and you're going to continue that until you have 11 stitches. Yeah, 11. Alright, once we've made it up to 11 stitches, you're going to knit all the stitches, and then on the other side you're going to purl the stitches, and you're going to do that 3 times each for a grand total of 6 rows of stockinette stitch. Alright, I'm going to say that again. Knit all the stitches and purl all the stitches 3 times for a grand total of 6 rows of stockinette stitch. So now that we have done our 6 rows of stockinette, we're going to start decreasing, which means we're going to knit the first stitch, knit 2 together, knit the remaining stitches on that side, and then on the purl side, purl to the last 3 stitches, purl 2 together, purl the last stitch, and you're going to do that until you're back down to 5 stitches. So I'm going to say that again. Knit the first stitch, purl these 2 together, and then you knit the rest of the stitches. On the purl side, you're going to purl until you have 3 stitches left on your needle, purl 2 together, purl the last stitch until you have 5 stitches remaining. Alright, now that we are down to 5 stitches, we have completed the first large petal, and the instructions say to make 2 more. So we're going to follow those same instructions to make 2 more. And just to review, those instructions are to increase until you get to 11, stockinette stitch for 6 rows, and then decrease back to 5. I can't remember if I said it just now, so I'm going to say it again. Once you finish your 6 rows of stockinette, then it's time to decrease once again, where you knit and then knit 2 together, knit the rest, purl until the last 3, purl the last 2 stitches, purl, and you're going to do that until you're down to 5 stitches. Alright, so we are on the last petal. We're down to 5 stitches, and now we bind off. I'm just going to bind off with a simple knitted bind off. Again, the instructions do not say, so I believe it is up to your discretion. Technically, the instructions say to fasten off, but you have to bind off. Alright, once that's done, grab your scissors. It doesn't say, but I'm going to go ahead and give myself a nice long tail. Alright. So, it does say that the stockinette side needs to go out. So that's this side. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the side where all the knits are. So that's the stockinette side. Alright. So you start to roll it in on itself, and the instructions say to just do it loosely. I would try to make it to where the tops of each petal is kind of situated in between each other so that they kind of show off each other. So and the whole time it says to press. I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean with an iron. You're pressing with your fingers. And again, just trying to make it to where the petals kind of, see how I've made it to where this petal is in the dip in between these 2 petals. And that's going to make your rows look more realistic. Alright. Then you flip it over and you take your nice long tail. And this part is a little tricky because you're trying to hold all the work you just made. And it doesn't say how many stitches to put together. I, by nature, try to do 3 because that's less likely to come apart. So I do 3 in, maybe 4. That first one looks a little wonky to me. And then I do the same 3 out. Okay. Alright, then you turn it over and you push up just ever so slightly on the center, and then it says to roll out the petals just a little bit. And again, this is just to help make it look just a little bit more like an actual rose. I'm sure there are ways to keep the petals go. There we go. Isn't that nice? So this would be a nice accent that you could put on a hat or a bag, or if you really wanted to, you could make a whole headband of roses to wear. I just thought it was a nice spring thing that knit people could use in their work. Please join me tomorrow for What You Working on Wednesday. Again, I apologize for the delay in this video, and I hope you will join me. In the meantime, make what makes you merry.